by Dayn Perry at Dayn Perry April 12, 2019 at 8:53 a.m. Eastern Time. 5 minutes read. Welcome to the MLB Star Power Index, a weekly temperature reading that tells us which players are owning the baseball conversation right now. While one's presence on this list is often a positive, it's not necessarily a good thing. It simply means that you're capturing the baseball world's attention for one reason or another. The players listed are in no particular order. Thanks to Brad Botkin and our NBA compadres for letting us borrow the concept, view profile. Like all great adventures, Trout ended with an overtaxed groin. As recently as April 2nd, the world's great baseball player was homerless on the season, albeit otherwise quite productive. At the expense of the visiting Rangers, however, he promptly piled up 5 dingers in a span of 4 games. Then against the theretofore magma-hot Brewers, he perpetrated this at the expense of the NL MVP, Story checks out. Unfortunately, this also happened 2 days later. Trout was removed with a right groin strain. He is day-to-day, Los Angeles Angels, at Angels, April 10, 2019. Anyhow, Trout's Angels have won 6 in a row, and Trout is now batting .406, .592, .938 on the young season. Which one of those is dumber? I'll go with the .592 OBP. He has 13 walks against 4 strikeouts. You know Trout can do it all on a baseball field, which is why he's owed roughly $430 million over the next 12 years. Speaking of 12, that's how many games Trout has played in this season, and he's already put up a WAR of 1.8. That scales to a season total of 22.3 WAR, which is far dumber than even that .592 OBP. So stop it, Trout. Stop being so good at your chosen profession. View profile. Yasiel Puig is new to Cincy and environs. He was traded to the Reds from the Dodgers this past offseason. While he'll no doubt come around, he's hardly been vintage Puig thus far, as at this writing he's batting .147, .194, .206 and still hunting for his first home run of the season. He's not in this August ledger because of his statistical outputs, however. No, he's on here because of these recent business meetings in Pittsburgh. Alright, so the ruckus was fairly pedestrian by the standards of the genre, but what wasn't pedestrian by the standards of the genre is this photo. Puig versus everybody, that people is why Puig is on this week's list. The image has already become a meme. I'm not sharing any of those memes because why would someone do that? The point, though, is that this photo contains multitudes. If you didn't know any better, you'd think it was a rendering of the last bottle of ketchup who believes in something standing athwart the hordes of mustard who would take away his freedoms. In righteous conclusion, view profile. At this point, the reader is likely querying, what is Ramon Laureano doing on a list that isn't a list of players named Ramon Laureano? The author will grant that Mr. Laureano isn't not typically among the most famous of ball players. That, though, is our fault. They call him the Laser. Uncertain of the origins for that name? Here, this mixtape should clear things up. That's not even an exhaustive rundown of his assassinations. In a mere 513 and a third career defensive innings, Laureano has already racked up 13 outfield assists. He's already got 4 this season, and 3 of those came in one series against the Red Sox. Given his arm strength, accuracy and ability to get his body into throwing position in a hurry, Laureano will keep on racking up kills until teams stop running on him, which should happen any minute now. Any minute. Speaking of Laureano's deadly arm, another death metaphor for the people, there's this, that's a championship textile right there, and it's available to you in exchange for redeemable currency. As for Laser Ramon, you keep sending them, he'll keep cutting them down. Violence metaphor. View profile. Not so long ago, the Mets were wondering, not aloud, necessarily, but wondering, whether or not slugging first baseman Pete Alonso should crack the opening day active roster. He was ready, in no doubt. Alonso's a 24-year-old college draftee who last season slugged .579 with 36 homers across Double and Triple A. Alonso also thrived at every level coming up through the system. On the other hand, the Mets had Dominic Smith in the fold, and he still has upside, plus left-handed power. As well, the Mets, like many teams in similar situations, could have kept Alonso down to manipulate his service time and delay his eventual free agency for a year. However, the Mets under new GM Brodie Van Wagenen went all in on contention. They brought in a number of new win-now players, mostly notably Robinson Cano, and they figured that in the competitive NL East they didn't have a win to waste. That's why Alonso headed north with the big league club when spring training ended. His Grapefruit League ops of 1.041 certainly didn't hurt. Leap ahead a couple of weeks, and the Mets' decision has been rewarded and then some. Right now, Alonso owns a rookie/line of .378, .451, .911 with 6 home runs and 51 plate appearances. Here's his latest stroke piece, which came at the expense of the Braves' Woofati. Alonso thus far is in the top 5.0% of the league when it comes to average exit velocity, and he's in the top 1.0% of the league in hard hit rate. So, yeah, and also barely, Petty Taters is laying wood out there. Anyway, do with this what you will. Even though Pete Alonso hits taters, I'm not going to suggest that he be nicknamed Predators. Dayn Perry, at Dayn Perry, April 12, 2019. If Pete Alonso becomes nicknamed Predators, even though I said I'm not suggesting that he should be, then there's not much I can do about that. If you want to advance the grassroots cause of nicknaming him Predators, then that's choice, your volition, your agency. Stop Pete Alonso from being nicknamed Predators. This scribe could sooner stop a dam from breaking. This scribe could sooner stop Pete Alonso from hitting balls hard and also far, so Mr. Alonso has been worth roughly 1.0 WAR already this season. Had he been started off down on the farm, he'd still be there, and the Mets might not be narrowly in first place in the NL East, which is what they are right now. So good job, Mets. You, too, Predators.